Okay, right, hang on a minute. Let's just put the brakes on and let's just breathe and take it easy and just take a minute to reflect. For those that are living in a bubble and don't quite know what I'm talking about, we've just had our EU referendum result, and the majority, by a small margin, voted to leave the EU. So I've made my views on Facebook sort of fairly well known, so let's not sort of dwell on that. Let's look at what we do now. With this and with life, and you know, let's apply it to our own lives. So the quote, my name is Kai Graham, and there's a lot of negativity going on at the minute, so I'm going to try and bring back some perspective and some positivity. My company is the Mind Model, and every day I try and bring a little bit of positivity to the internet and to the Mind Model tribe. So today I've got my work cut out for me, I think. The quote is, things don't necessarily happen for the best, but it's important to make the best out of things that happen. And that's what we need to do. We need to look on the bright side. Now, some people, 50%, 51 point something percent of the, or whatever it is, of the population will be pleased with the outcome. So that's great. The rest of us, them, you know, the slightly sort of smaller minority are not so pleased, and there's a lot of fear going on, and there's a lot of worry, and I think that's the problem with change, isn't it? It's fearful. Change, a lot of people don't like change, and I think the fear is because we don't know what's going to happen next, and I think that's really where it resides. And there's been so much scaremongering and backbiting, and this EU debate has been very, very negative and very toxic, which is a shame. And what my view is that we need to be positive, we need to be measured, and we need to be responsible. Change is scary. But, you know, as a mum, you know, I've seen this sort of, you know, thing happen many times, just even in my own family, when we've had a bereavement, or kids don't get into the university of their choice. And when things go bad, one tends to sort of panic and go into a sort of a bit of a tailspin. But it's important to put the brakes on and think, right, what are we going to do now? What can we do that's positive? What can we do that is constructive? Because out of good always comes bad. Out of change comes opportunities. We might not be able to see them at the minute, but opportunities will arise nonetheless. And it's a matter of us doing that with a clear head and a calm heart. Regardless if it's the Brexit vote or if it's in your own life. If you're struggling with your own life, you know, people are still have their own issues today, regardless of the referendum vote. People are still going through hell, suffering from depression, bereavement, anxiety attacks, you name it. And so this also comes out to you guys, is whatever happens, even though it might not be the result that you're looking for, it's up to us to make the best of it, isn't it? It's up to us to take responsibility and to think, right, how can we move forward? Let's just stop the scaremongering. Let's just stop the backbiting. Let's just stop the worrying and think, right, okay, how can I make this better? How can I make this situation better for me, my family? If you're an employer, hello, baby, your employer, whatever's going on, it's so important just to try and remain calm and understand that you might not have the results you're looking for today. But if you work with a full heart and a strong head, I think we'll be all right. You know, it is our great country, and it can still be great. But when we start with the toxic comments and the finger pointing, we just start doing actually what we were complaining about in the first place, and that's marginalising other people, and that's not us. That's not the way we operate. We need to be united now, and whoever's going to lead this country, God, fingers crossed there, but we need leadership, but also not just from the top, from all angles, from us. And I think it's time, as adults, we set an example to our children. God, if you look at the figures, it's the adults that got our children in this mess. I apologise profusely for that, but hey. But let's just move forward with what we can do. Let's move forward and be strong and united and optimistic, because I am an optimist and my glass is always half full. It's not feeling particularly full at the minute, but I tell you what, it's certainly not bloody well half empty. So there we are, that's me. I just feel we need to steady that ship and support one another and move on. And this comes with love. So let's move on. Great Britain, whatever we become, let's support one another. Okay, and on that note, I shall say goodbye and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.